Hi, I'm Lori, your personal organizer. Welcome to yourpersonalorganizer.ca. Today I wanted to take some time to tell you about baby memory quilts. Now, I know that a lot of us are very sentimental. We mothers who have dressed our children in clothing and loved them, and just when we look at them, it takes us right back to the time when they were beautiful little babies. And a lot of times we don't know what to do with baby clothes once they're grown out of them. Maybe you're very sentimental and you want to keep them, or maybe they're stained and not able to be passed on to someone else. I know for myself, I actually passed them on to my sister, and I just recently went back to help her pack up the things that she was not needing or didn't have room for anymore. And I actually saw the clothes for my kids again after many, many years, and it was a really amazing experience. I felt like I almost got my babies back. So I had never really considered anything to do with baby memory quilts, but I really felt that at this point they had served their purpose for my kids, they had served their purposes for my niece and nephews, and at this point I could take them back and do something really exciting with them. So the ones that are stained or they don't necessarily look very good, they can still be used in a quilt actually, and I'll show you how to do that on my blog. I'll show you more step-by-step process with pictures on my blog. But right now I want to talk about what you should look for when you're thinking about what you want to do with the clothes. So if you have clothes that have a really nice little detail on them, you can make sure they don't have any staining on that little spot. However, you can also, even if they're staining lower on a diaper shirt, you can use the back as well. So you want to choose a pattern. I like squares. I think squares are easy to use, easy to sew, and you can choose a square and then make a coordinating color square in the back. If you have clothes that just are meaningful to you because they wore them, but it wouldn't really be a good square, but they have like a neat little pocket feature, I would use that somewhere else. You can cut it out pretty close to it and use it on a square, and I'll show you how to do that as we go along. Such as this. This would be an easy one to do. So you have a square that has a maple leaf, and then on the back when you cut the square it would have just the pink, so it would be nice coordinating. This one here, you don't have to keep these little appliques in one square. You could actually take them off and add them to other places on the quilt. I would definitely be careful of things like this that have a seam. If you have a word that goes through, it might be harder to applique, but you can still do it. So, but just be conscious of what you're looking at and how big the items are, how much squares you can get from each thing. The other thing you need to be very concerned about in a way is what is your goal? Is it just little children, little baby things? So it's, you know, pastels, blues, pinks. If you have multiple children, you have different genders. I decided, with the help of my 12-year-old daughter, just to ask her questions. Do you want this quilt? She was kind of thinking, well, those clothes don't really make any difference to me. They're actually for you. However, I do like the idea of being able to pass them on to my kids to say I wore those clothes. But so at first I thought of combining the boys and girls clothes just for a quilt for me, because really it is for me. But when she said she'd like to pass them on, I felt I'd like to do that for her. So I'm going to make a very pink quilt, because that's what I had there, and a very blue quilt. And even my son, who's only 7, felt that he would like to see, so he looked at the clothes and he was excited to see them. I might even take a couple of pictures to preserve what the clothes were, although they are in pictures of the kids when they were wearing them back then. But then I will cut them out and put them into the quilt. If you're looking for someone to do that for you, you have the clothing, you'd like to get the clutter out, but you want to keep the memories, you can come to my website, www.yourpersonalorganizer.ca. Join me on my website at www.yourpersonalorganizer.ca.